lie to y'all niggas, bro. Cardi B downfall is looking crazy right now. How the fuck you managed to get pregnant not even a year after you and your mans broke up? Managed to get pregnant by the nigga who constantly cheats on you in front of your face, carrying his child, and the nigga sleeps with men? Shit, I think twice about announcing that baby too. Word of me.
Screenshots spreading. And suddenly, one of the most talked about relationships in celebrity culture looked completely different. Jeffree didn't whisper it. He said it boldly. Cardi B's baby daddy was in my DMs. Just like that. What was supposed to be Cardi B's new fairy tale romance with NFL star Stefon? Diggs started looking like a messy plot twist nobody saw coming. For months, Cardi had been showing the world that she had moved on from Offset, smiling in interviews, talking about how this new man came into her life to heal her after the chaos of her divorce. Fans thought she had finally upgraded. But behind the scenes, rumors were already circulating that Diggs had a completely different lifestyle than the one Cardi was proudly presenting online. Teammates had joked they wouldn't let him date their sisters. Old rumors about secret relationships were resurfacing. And then a stylist's shocking story about a disturbing encounter with Diggs began spreading across the internet. Just when the drama couldn't get worse, Jeffree Star suddenly entered the picture, claiming that Diggs had been messaging him and that the two had even been spotted together. Photos started circulating. Fans began comparing Cardi's new look to Jeffree's signature style. And people began asking a brutal question. Was Cardi the last person to know what was really happening? The more clips resurfaced and the more accusations piled up, the stranger the entire situation started to feel. Because if Jeffree Star was telling the truth, this wasn't just celebrity gossip anymore. This was a public humiliation playing out in real time, with Cardi B caught right in the middle of it. Before Jeffree Star's name ever entered the conversation, Cardi B's relationship with Stefon Diggs was being sold to the public as something completely different, a fresh start, a glow and proof that she had finally moved on from the chaos of her marriage with Offset. For years, Cardi's relationship with Offset had played out in the public eye like a roller coaster of love, betrayal, and reconciliation. Cheating scandals, public apologies, and dramatic breakups had become part of the story fans followed closely. So when Cardi began appearing alongside Stefon Diggs, many fans immediately framed it as revenge energy. The moment where Cardi finally chose someone who would treat her better. Diggs, an NFL star known for his talent and flashy lifestyle, seemed like the perfect candidate to represent that new chapter. At first, everything looked almost too perfect. The two were seen together at events, in luxury restaurants, and around high-profile parties where cameras were always nearby. Cardi spoke openly in interviews about how Diggs made her feel again, young, excited, and hopeful. She even joked about how dating again felt like being 16 years old. That strange mix of excitement and vulnerability where every emotion feels brand new. During one interview, she laughed about how they had too much fun, hinting that their chemistry had moved quickly and unexpectedly. For Cardi, who had spent years defending her marriage and dealing with public embarrassment, Diggs represented something emotionally important. It's a chance to start over without the baggage of her past relationship. But even in those early moments, whispers were already circulating around Diggs' reputation. Long before Cardi ever appeared beside him, rumors had followed the NFL star for years. Teammates had jokingly admitted during interviews that they wouldn't want him dating their sisters. A comment that might have sounded playful on the surface but hinted at a reputation many insiders were aware of. Stories about his complicated dating life, multiple children, and alleged side relationships had been floating around sports circles long before the public began paying attention. To many observers, Diggs had always been the type of man who thrived on attention and lived a lifestyle that rarely stayed quiet for long. Still, Cardi ignored the warnings. After everything she had experienced with Offset, she seemed determined to believe this relationship was different. Fans who supported her wanted the same thing. They watched her smile again, watched her speak about feeling healed, and hoped that this time the story would end differently. When Cardi eventually revealed that she was expecting a child, the announcement was framed as proof that their relationship had moved into something serious. For some supporters, it looked like the ultimate sign that Cardi had finally found stability. But for others watching from the outside, the news raised uncomfortable questions. Diggs already had a messy dating history, and the speed of the relationship made many wonder if Cardi was rushing into another situation that could eventually hurt her. Critics began asking whether the pregnancy meant Diggs would now remain permanently connected to Cardi's life, regardless of whether their relationship lasted. And those questions grew louder as more rumors about Diggs' private behavior began resurfacing online. What nobody expected was that the situation would soon spiral far beyond simple relationship drama. Because just as Cardi was presenting her romance with Diggs as a fresh chapter in her life, a completely different narrative was quietly building in the background, one involving accusations, leaked stories, and eventually the one person who would pour gasoline on the entire controversy: Jeffree Star. The moment the story stopped being simple relationship drama was when a man named Christopher Griffin stepped forward with allegations. That made the entire situation darker and far more complicated. Griffin, an influencer and stylist who had reportedly worked around Stefon Diggs in the past, claimed that his encounter with the NFL star in 2023 didn't just leave him uncomfortable, it left him traumatized. According to Griffin, the two met during a charity basketball event in Washington, D.C. After the event, the group allegedly went out to a nightclub before ending the night at Diggs' home in Rockville, Maryland. At first, Griffin described the evening as normal, the kind of after-party hangout that often follows celebrity events. But things allegedly took a turn when Diggs offered him candy. Griffin claimed he initially refused several times before eventually accepting it, and shortly afterward began feeling extremely strange. According to Griffin's account, his body suddenly felt weak and disoriented, as if he had been drugged. He later alleged that Diggs began making physical advances toward him while he struggled to stay alert. Griffin said he managed to push himself away and lock himself inside a bathroom for nearly an hour while the effects wore off. When he finally came out and attempted to leave, he claimed the situation escalated even further. Griffin alleged that Diggs physically assaulted him, forced him to repeat a false version of events, and then had him driven to the airport. The story didn't end there. Griffin later claimed that about a week after the incident, he was confronted in an elevator at his Los Angeles residence by a group of men that included Derez Diggs, Stefon Diggs' brother. According to Griffin, the confrontation was meant to intimidate him into staying silent about what happened that night. The allegations quickly spread across social media and entertainment blogs, turning the situation into something far more serious than gossip. However, Diggs strongly denied every claim. His legal team moved quickly, filing a defamation lawsuit against Griffin and arguing that the accusations were false and damaging to his reputation. With both sides presenting completely different versions of events, the public was left watching a legal battle unfold while trying to figure out what was real and what wasn't. But just as the accusations were dominating headlines, another unexpected twist appeared, one that dragged Cardi B directly into the drama. Jeffree Star, a beauty mogul known for his blunt personality and history of internet feuds, suddenly began commenting on the situation. At first, his involvement seemed unrelated. Jeffree had simply been expressing support for Nicki Minaj, Cardi B's longtime rival. That alone was enough to trigger reactions from Cardi's fan base. But Jeffree didn't back down. Instead, he doubled down with a statement that instantly went viral. "Y'all said Cardi B is going to come for me. Her baby daddy was in my DMs." With that one sentence, the entire conversation shifted. Suddenly, the focus wasn't just on allegations against Diggs. It was on the possibility that he had been privately messaging Jeffree Star while publicly dating Cardi. Jeffree claimed that Diggs had contacted him directly and that they had even met up together. Rumors began circulating that the two had been spotted at hotels and restaurants. Photos began appearing online, though their authenticity quickly became a topic of debate. Some fans insisted the images were real proof of a secret relationship, while others believed they were edited or taken out of context. Still, Jeffree's comments had already done their damage. He continued speaking openly about the situation, even mocking Cardi for staying with a man who allegedly embarrassed her repeatedly in public. Jeffree's blunt remarks fueled the drama even further. For someone like Cardi, whose personal life had already been dissected by the internet, for years the idea that her new relationship might be unraveling so quickly was humiliating. And that's where the first shocking twist hit the story, because while Cardi had been presenting her relationship with Diggs as a healing chapter after her messy divorce from Offset, the internet suddenly began asking a brutal question. What if the man she believed was helping her move forward had been living a completely different life? Be